Hi everyone, welcome to a quick episode of Technology Tips. Here we're going to take a look at some best practices when it comes to sending emails. So you'll also see there is a guide in front of you, which we'll be emailing out to everyone as well, so you can have access to this for a quick reference. We're going to walk through this so that way you can get a little more familiar with some of these best practices. So one of the first things I want to know is that whenever you're opening up an email, these items, right, are all going to be blank. So it kind of seems like there's a lot of different options, and a lot of folks may have questions about which options do what. So one of the first things I want to point out is when we're sending an email, there's the to line, and this is the one we're most familiar with. But when we use the to line, there's also certain things we want to be aware of. One is that this person is, for the most part, the main person that this is about or that we want to reply from. So this person is persons is going to be your main contact and who you expect to continue communication with. The next item, CC, or carbon copy, is who needs to be updated about this reply. Typically, folks who are CC'd are not going to reply to the email itself, but rather they're just people who need to be updated on what's going on. It's also important to note that both the to and the CC person can see one another, so it's a really transparent way of keeping that communication up. The next item below is BCC, and so this is where there's some extra questions. BCC stands for blind carbon copy, and essentially what this is anyone who you want to be updated about the message, but also other people are not going to be aware of this respondent. So typically this is used when someone needs to be updated but not reply, and often this is done for bulk emails and for whether it's to students or whether it's to employees or groups. This way the respondents can't see each other, they can only see the to and the CC line. A good example of this could be an email getting sent out to all students and employees, and CC may be included as the deans for that example if students have questions about that particular issue. Or maybe an email sent out to all students and student services is CC'd. That way, only the students will be able to see the CC, not the other students included. It's also important to note that when we BCC people, they won't be able to click reply all and continue those email notifications. So this is a great way to limit who's responding and also who has access. It's also important to note that in BCC, this is a great way to keep students' information private. The other couple things we want to point out is adding a subject. So this line typically is going to be a preview of the email. So a few keywords about what the email is about is going to be a great way to get your message looked at right away, or it may be something that gets come back to later if it's not super important. It's a great way to give a preview. And then at the very end, we have our body of our email. So here's a few tips to help you get the most out of your body of your email. Beginning with a warm welcome and a personal connection is a great way to have people have a warm tone to get started. Secondly, you'll want to be sure to state your reason for the email. Being direct is a great way so that way we're not making our emails extra lengthy and we're not jumping around the topic. So for example, if I'm trying to find emails about scholarships, it's also important that that email has keywords like scholarship, student services, financial aid, and even items like FAFSA. It's really important that whatever our students look for when trying to find an email, or for us as employees, we're able to pull it up easily with the keywords. A couple other items that are good to take note of are when we're attaching files, keep in mind that they may come up as an attachment that we have to click to open, or you can embed certain documents directly in the email, such as a preview of a photo. So these two processes look a little different, but do keep in mind that especially when we're embedding images, that we want to have some type of image description for screen readers, and so we can improve access for all of our folks viewing the email. Additionally, when wrapping up emails, we also want to add with a personal connection and a thank you. We know that emails can take a little bit of time out of our day, to say the least, and so thanking people for their time is always a great way to end on a warm tone. The very last item we want to take a look at is to double check that the recipients are included in the correct locations, and also that any documents are for the intended people. So that way we're protecting our students' privacy as well as other individuals. So thank you very much for this tutorial, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.